Sha'Carri Richardson has taken the sports world by storm, rising to fame as the fastest woman on the planet in 2023. After her stunning victory at the 2023 World Athletics Championships, Sha'Carri didn't just win a race, she made a powerful statement. She stood tall as the strongest black athlete in a field often dominated by a media that, until then, was quick to criticize her every move. Even in her darkest moments, when she was grappling with the heartbreaking loss of her mother, the spotlight didn't show her compassion. Instead, the media relentlessly scrutinized her. Yes, Sha'Carri did test positive for marijuana, but the context is crucial. She was using it to cope with the grief of losing her mom, and in a state where marijuana is legal. Still, the response from sports organizations and parts of the media felt harsh and unfair, many viewing the punishment as a reflection of deeper racial biases. She was suspended, missing out on what could have been one of the biggest moments in her career, the Olympics. But if there's one thing Sha'Carri has shown, it's resilience. In 2023, she bounced back stronger than ever, capturing the world's attention with her fierce determination and unmatched speed. But beyond the headlines and the flashy victories, most people don't know the full story. Her personal struggles, the heavy criticism she faced, and how sheer grit and passion have shaped her journey to success. So, what's life really like for Sha'Carri Richardson? How does she live day to day? What's her net worth? And is she in a relationship? Let's dive into Sha'Carri Richardson's story and uncover the woman behind the headlines. In this episode, we're pulling back the curtain on a side of Sha'Carri Richardson that many haven't seen before. So buckle up, because this isn't just about sports. It's about resilience, power, and rising beyond expectations.
Sha'Carri Richardson is no stranger to the spotlight, but recently, she's become much more than a household name. She's become a symbol of boldness, elegance, and unapologetic excellence. Her journey, filled with setbacks and comebacks, hit its most electrifying moment on June 21st at the World Athletics Championships, when she stunned the world by clinching the gold medal in the 100-meter dash. Now, people knew who she was before. She'd already made headlines with her bright hair, long nails, fiery attitude, and blazing speed. But no one expected her to take the gold that day. And yet, she did. Not only did she beat out icons like Jamaica's sprint legends Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and Elaine Thompson-Herah, she blew past them, clocking an astonishing 10.65 seconds. That moment didn't just win her a medal. It won her a place in history as the fastest woman alive. For millions watching around the world, that was the moment Sha'Carri Richardson went from a controversial name in sports to an undeniable global force. But that win wasn't just about speed. It was about everything she had to overcome to get there. Loss, criticism, suspension, and being written off too soon. And yet, she didn't just return, she rose. And now we're going deeper into her story. The side of Sha'Carri that's been overshadowed by headlines and misunderstood by many. Her lavish lifestyle, her unshakable spirit, and the way she's rewriting what success looks like for young black women in athletics and beyond. Hit that subscribe button and let's dive into the real story of Sha'Carri Richardson. But here's the truth. Only Sha'Carri Richardson herself truly knows the uphill battle it took to reach the mountaintop that so many dream about but few ever touch. She didn't just wake up one day and become the fastest woman alive. Behind that speed is a story of relentless effort, sacrifice, and the kind of mental grit most people can't even imagine. And while she hasn't yet broken the record set by her idol and fashion-forward track icon Florence Griffith Joyner, Flo-Jo, Sha'Carri is still captivating the world with her electrifying presence and jaw-dropping athleticism.
Her journey is far from over. But already, she's turned her raw talent and unshakable persistence into global fame and life-changing wealth. In fact, this year alone, she joined the ranks of the youngest millionaires in sports. And yes, she knows exactly how to enjoy the success she's earned, treating herself to the finer things in life unapologetically. But before we dive into her luxurious lifestyle, let's rewind and understand how she climbed the ladder, from a gifted girl in Dallas to a household name on the world stage. Born on March 25, 2000, in the heart of Dallas, Texas, Sha'Carri showed early signs that she was built different. As a teenager, she was already making waves in track and field. In 2016, she claimed the 100-meter title at the AAU Junior Olympics, the biggest national youth sports event in the country. That was just the beginning. In 2017, she doubled down on her promise, winning again at the USATF Junior Olympics, proving that her early success wasn't luck, it was destiny in motion. That same year, Sha'Carri made her international debut at the Pan American U20 Championships. She joined forces with teammates Gabrielle Cunningham, Rebecca Smith, and Tara Davis to help the U.S. bring home gold in the 4x100-meter relay. But then came 2019, the year everything changed. While most college freshmen are just trying to adjust to dorm life, Sha'Carri was breaking records. At just 19 years old while competing for Louisiana State University, LSU, she stunned the track world by running the 100 meters in 10.75 seconds at the NCAA Division I Championships. That time instantly made her one of the 10 fastest women in history, and she was barely out of her teens. That wasn't just a win, that was a warning to the world. Get ready, Sha'Carri's coming. In April 2021, she turned it up even more, blazing through the track with a new personal best of 10.72 seconds. That run made her the 6th fastest woman of all time and the 4th fastest American woman ever. No more potential, no more predictions. At that point, she was already legendary. Later that summer, she sealed her Olympic dreams by winning the U.S. Olympic trials in the women's 100-meter with a time of 10.86 seconds, officially earning her spot in the 2020 Olympic Games. That was supposed to be her moment on the world stage. But, as many now know, fate took a different turn, and the biggest test of her spirit was just ahead. But just when everything seemed to be aligning for Sha'Carri Richardson, her rising star hit a wall. Her Olympic dreams came to a crashing halt when it was revealed she had tested positive for cannabis. That single moment, while deeply human, was all it took for sports authorities to invalidate her Olympic win and suspend her from competing in the 100-meter race at the Tokyo Games. The headlines were brutal, the scrutiny relentless, and yet, behind the controversy was a painful truth. Sha'Carri had used marijuana to cope with the devastating loss of her biological mother, a woman she had learned about just days before her qualifying race. She was grieving, overwhelmed, and trying to breathe through it all in the only way she knew how at the time. To be clear, she wasn't looking for excuses. She owned her decision and accepted a 1-month suspension, voluntarily entering a counseling program. She faced her consequences head-on, without playing the victim, because that's not who she is. But still, the punishment was harsh, and many saw it as another example of how black athletes, particularly black women, are disproportionately penalized and policed for behavior that wouldn't get the same reaction elsewhere, especially in a state where marijuana use was legal. While some counted her out, Sha'Carri didn't fold. She regrouped, refocused, and came back even stronger.
By July 2023, she was back at the top, louder, faster, and more unapologetic than ever. She blazed through the women's 100-meter final at the USA Outdoor Track and Field Championships, reclaiming her title as the U.S. national champion with a time of 10.82 seconds. It was a powerful message to the world. You can't stop what's destined. But she wasn't done. Later that summer, on the global stage at the 2023 World Athletics Championships in Budapest, Sha'Carri etched her name deeper into history. Lined up against sprinting legends Shericka Jackson and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, many doubted she'd take gold. But Sha'Carri had other plans. With the world watching, she exploded down the track, leaving the field in the dust and crossing the finish line in 10.65 seconds, a new championship record. In that moment, she became the fastest woman in the world, silencing doubters, critics, and outdated narratives all at once. And she wasn't done making noise. On the second-to-last day of the championships, she helped Team USA dominate the 4x100-meter relay, anchoring a powerhouse squad that not only won gold, but also set a new championship record with a time of 41.03 seconds.
It was a defining moment in U.S. track history, and a double coronation for Sha'Carri. Let's put this in perspective. At just 19 years old, she had already earned her spot among the 10 fastest women in history. Now, at 23, standing at only 5'1" and weighing just 99 pounds, she's defying the odds stacked against her, on the track and off it. And the road ahead? It's wide open. But none of this came easy. Born and raised in Dallas, Texas, Sha'Carri was brought up by a single mother and her grandmother, a tight-knit family of strong black women who instilled in her the drive to fight for her dreams. She's had to hustle harder, push farther, and rise above personal loss, public scrutiny, and an athletic world that too often tries to box black women in. Yet, here she is, still running, still shining, still breaking barriers. And she's just getting started. Before we dive deeper into Sha'Carri Richardson's powerful story, take a second. Are you feeling inspired by what you're hearing so far? If yes, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Now, let's get back into it. Behind every champion, there's often a story of sacrifice, and in Sha'Carri's case, it began at home. From a young age, Sha'Carri's biological mother recognized the fire in her daughter and made sacrifices to nurture that talent. But sadly, their time together would be cut short. Just days after Sha'Carri stunned the world by winning her first gold medal, and right before the Olympic trials, where she would dominate the 100-meter race, she was hit with devastating news. Her mother had passed away. And the way she found out? On camera. During a post-race media interview, a reporter broke the news to her. No time to process, no warning. Just a world-shifting loss delivered in the glare of the spotlight. That moment could have broken anyone. But Sha'Carri, heartbroken and stunned, still stepped onto the track and ran like the wind. She won the 100-meter race at the U.S. Olympic trials, not just with her legs, but with her heart. That victory wasn't just about speed, it was about grit, about carrying pain, about showing up even when the weight of the world is trying to pin you down. Raised primarily by her grandmother, Betty Harp, and a loving aunt who both played pivotal roles in her life, Sha'Carri often credits them with shaping the woman she is today. Betty wasn't just her guardian, she was her anchor, her safe place, her biggest believer. That strong foundation helped build Sha'Carri's resilience, but even with that strength, the loss of her mother triggered a storm she wasn't ready for. In her grief, Sha'Carri turned to marijuana, a deeply human, if controversial decision, to cope with unimaginable emotional pain. The substance was legal in the state she was in, but not in the eyes of international sports authorities. What followed was swift and punishing, a 1-month suspension and a heartbreaking removal from the Olympic roster. Just like that, she was sidelined, robbed of the chance to compete on the world's biggest stage, right when the world was beginning to see her shine. That moment could have ended her career, but not Sha'Carri. She doesn't quit. She may stumble, but she always gets back up. Coming up next, how she bounced back from the suspension, turned public doubt into dominance, and claimed her rightful place as the fastest woman alive. Stay tuned.
Many fans and critics alike stood up and said, "This punishment doesn't make sense." Why? Because marijuana isn't known to improve sprinting performance. It's not going to make you run faster, jump higher, or outpace Olympic champions. So why was she suspended? That question lit a fire under a national and even global conversation. As marijuana laws continue to change across the US and other parts of the world, people are pushing for a re-examination of outdated rules. Should we really be banning athletes for something that's legal, non-performance enhancing, and used in a private moment of personal pain? There's also been a serious double standard at play. Over the years, other athletes in different countries have tested positive for marijuana and weren't pulled from major events. So why was Sha'Carri treated so harshly? She spoke out. She stood tall and voiced her truth. But it seemed like no one in power was willing to listen. The suspension stayed in place, and she was forced to watch the Tokyo Olympics from the sidelines, when she should have been at the starting blocks, ready to win. But, as we've seen time and time again, Sha'Carri Richardson is not the kind of woman who lets setbacks define her. She turned that heartbreak into motivation,
bounced back stronger, and redefined what it means to fight for your place in the world, not just as an athlete, but as a young Black woman demanding fairness, dignity, and respect. But what is life like now for this world-class sprinter? What kind of lifestyle does she lead after all the fame, the fire, and the fallout? Let's get into that, because trust us, it's just as bold and inspiring as the woman herself. Let's take a deeper look into who Sha'Carri Richardson really is, beyond the track, beyond the spotlight, and beyond the headlines. Sha'Carri isn't just an athlete. She's a woman of strong beliefs and a rich inner life. She's deeply spiritual, staying grounded in her Christian faith even as the world watches her every move. That foundation seems to guide how she moves through both triumph and controversy. Though she's not married yet, fans have long speculated about who might be close to her heart. There have been whispers about a current relationship, but she's kept that part of her life very private, and so far, no names have been confirmed. What we do know is that Sha'Carri once dated Jamaican track star Janique Brown, a relationship that she opened up about publicly. The two were together for about a year, and from the outside, they seemed to share a bond fueled by both love and competition. But eventually, the relationship came to an end. Sha'Carri addressed the breakup herself, sharing pieces of her emotional journey on Instagram. Some followers remember her posting about the challenges they faced and how things didn't work out. At one point, rumors even circulated that she admitted to being toxic during the relationship and expressed regret, maybe even wanting to reconcile. Whether those posts were heartfelt admissions or just fragments of a healing process, we may never know the full story. What's clear is that Sha'Carri doesn't shy away from her truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Off the track, she finds balance in quiet rituals and simple joys. She journals regularly, using writing as a way to process her thoughts and emotions. When it comes to food, she's got a soft spot for pizza and fries, proof that even world-class athletes need their comfort bites. She also turns inward through meditation, a practice that helps her focus and stay centered amid the chaos of fame. This blend of faith, reflection, and resilience gives her strength not just to run, but to rise. And let's not forget, Sha'Carri is a bold and vocal supporter of the LGBTQ+ community. She doesn't just stand beside the movement, she's a part of it. Her past relationship with Janique Brown and her openness about love in all its forms show that she lives her truth unapologetically. In a world that often tries to box people in, Sha'Carri breaks boundaries on the track, in the media, and in her personal identity. She's not afraid to speak out, stand up, or stand alone if she has to. Whether she's sprinting at full speed or reflecting quietly in her journal, Sha'Carri Richardson lives boldly, and that's what continues to make her one of the most compelling figures in modern sports. Now, let's talk about the money, because Sha'Carri Richardson isn't just fast, she's flourishing. At just 23 years old, Sha'Carri has already built a net worth that surpasses $5 million, putting her in the league of millionaire athletes and climbing fast. But this didn't happen overnight. Her wealth is the result of her relentless hustle, paired with some major endorsement deals from brands that see her more than just a sprinter, they see her as a cultural icon. We're talking Nike, Beats by Dre, and Apple Music, just to name a few. When she steps onto the track, she's not only there to win, she's also a walking billboard for confidence, swagger, and unapologetic Black excellence. Her custom Nike gear doesn't just perform, it makes a statement, echoing her bold personality in every stitch, every spike, every hair flip. And yes, people are watching. Even her competitors can't help but notice her confidence. Some fans believe that her vibe alone intimidates other athletes before the race even begins. But that's what happens when you walk like you know your worth, and Sha'Carri knows exactly who she is. Now that she's made it, she's not afraid to enjoy the fruits of her labor. Designer fits? Absolutely. Flawless nails? You bet. Flashy cars? Count on it. But even more important than the glam is her loyalty to the people who held her down when things got tough, her family. Sha'Carri never forgets where she came from. She's made it clear that giving back to her loved ones is one of her biggest motivations. Her rise to stardom wasn't a solo journey, it was a family affair. And now she's doing everything she can to return that love and support, even when she admits that no material gift could ever fully repay what they gave her. What's wild is that even some of the veterans in the game haven't reached her level of financial success. For perspective, Jamaican sprint queen Elaine Thompson-Herah has an estimated net worth around $4 million.
And the legendary Florence Griffith Joyner, often referred to as the greatest female sprinter of all time, had a net worth of $5 million at the time of her passing. Now, people are starting to draw powerful comparisons between Flo-Jo and Sha'Carri. The style, the speed, the fearless energy. It all feels like deja vu in the best way. Some even say Sha'Carri is the spiritual successor to Florence Griffith Joyner, carrying the torch for a new generation of athletes who don't just break records, they break molds. When Sha'Carri Richardson steps onto the track, she isn't just racing, she's making a statement. Her bold look, complete with long, colorful nails, dramatic lashes, and vibrant wigs, isn't just about style, it's about identity. And if that reminds you of the legendary Florence Griffith Joyner, Flo-Jo, that's not by accident. Just like Flo-Jo, Sha'Carri is using her appearance to send a powerful message. You can be your full self, loud and proud, and still dominate. In a world that often asks women, especially Black women, to tone it down or fit into a box, Sha'Carri refuses to shrink. She switches up her hair for almost every race, painting herself in new colors each time, almost like she's redefining what it means to be an elite athlete with every step she takes. She's not just running for medals, she's running for representation. She said it herself, sports shouldn't erase who you are. She's not going to cut her nails, mute her voice, or hide her personality just to fit into an outdated image of what an athlete should look like. What the world sees is a proud, fierce, and unapologetically Black woman who brings her full self to the starting blocks, lashes, flair, and all. Of course, being bold comes with pushback. Sha'Carri has faced her fair share of controversy, especially on social media. Whether it was throwing shade at fellow runner Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce or making comments after other athletes' wins, the spotlight hasn't always been kind. Critics have tried to silence her, label her as too much, or question her sportsmanship. But Sha'Carri doesn't back down. She speaks her truth, even when it's not popular. And for many people, especially young Black women watching her rise, that raw honesty, that fearless energy is exactly what makes her a role model. Her unapologetic approach to life and sport is changing the game. She's not just running races, she's breaking barriers. In a space that's often rigid and traditional, Sha'Carri is helping redefine what it means to be a champion. She's proving that style and substance can coexist, that confidence doesn't have to be quiet, and that authenticity is its own kind of power. After testing positive for marijuana, Sha'Carri Richardson didn't hide. She stepped up, faced the world head-on, and took responsibility. With honesty and humility, she apologized, not just for the failed drug test, but for disappointing the people who had been rooting for her. She didn't make excuses. Instead, she opened up about the pain she was dealing with, the pressure of being in the spotlight, and the reality of coping with grief in public. Even after a tough race where she didn't perform her best, Sha'Carri owned it. She told her fans she'd do better, and she did. She came back stronger, faster, and more focused. That kind of growth, that kind of resilience, it's what champions are made of. Now here's a question for you. Is Sha'Carri Richardson the one who will dominate women's track for the next decade? Will she go down as one of the greats? Or will she face serious competition from legendary athletes like Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce or Elaine Thompson-Herah, or rising stars who haven't even peaked yet? We want to know what you think. Who's your favorite female sprinter right now? Drop their name in the comments and tell us why they inspire you. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We'll catch you in the next one. Stay inspired and stay tuned.